Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, our family finally saw the birth of the true heir in the royal nest. Laurana was the only one to receive those stripes, so needless to say, she's going to be the one who takes on the bluebird feathers and leads our tribe to the next island. In fact, her birth basically means the migration is ready to begin, so as she grows, she's going to be traveling all the way over to those ports too, so she can put together a little traveling team that will hopefully help us succeed. In fact, maybe as Salami grabs the last of these poison berries, we could bring her over to her side. Not only was she getting a little bit cold out there, but she's going to have to pass on those bluebird feathers as soon as Laurana grows her second gem. I'm thinking that she's also going to entrust her baby in the hands of the oracles. Spark and Ember both kind of brought her to the nest. At least they ushered the good fortune of the ancestors there. So she probably figures that it's their job to deliver her to the ports too. What she doesn't know is the oracles are a little bit wary of this family now. They have seen with their own eyes that Salami uses those cursed food sources to feed her babies, so they wonder if they might be cursed too. It's going to make it hard for our oracles to continue to follow the leaders, even though deep down they know they must. So maybe they'll have to pass that knowledge on to our next generation of oracles. I wonder if Prophet will be able to sense that too. For now, these two are going to try their best to fight their instincts. We'll have them hop down from their thrones though. Now that they have called out to the ancestors, there's no reason for them to use these stumps anymore. We could maybe even have Ember go ahead and pick up this nest for Salami, since she's a little bit too tired to do so herself. And we could definitely use the nesting material on the new island, of course. I'd imagine we'll probably still run into a few of these twiggy little bushes here and there, and it'll probably be Ramila's job to pick them up too. She has learned the perfect way to gather these flowers from her father, but she's getting a little bit cold as well. So why don't we have Sunflower usher her into the grasslands? We know from experience that these areas are a little bit safer for our babies to roam, especially those who don't have quite as much cold resistance. It does look as if one of our Dodamingos may have passed away. Right next to a nest too. This is definitely some tiny little Dodamingo meat. I wonder if that means that Mimic's friend has passed away as well? Oh no, Mimic. Oh, I don't see our little Dodamingo anywhere. That was our Dodamingo scout too. They had a very important role to play, so it probably would be in your best interest to see if you can find him. Let's bring Spell over here. If only we had some berries, we'd be able to scoop those up with him, but it seems as if the bunnies may have gotten to them first. You guys have so many bunnies over here. It is about time that you take care of the stragglers. We could have Nukier set up inside the tall grasses and just lie in wait. Maybe Mimic could go ahead and clear out a bit more of the grass, probably clawing desperately around so he can find his friend. I wonder if maybe he would be using the Dodamingo calls to try to lure them near. Mimicking the wildlife is his best skill. Maybe the Dodamingo sounds would even catch the attention of Rokuta and Mir. They're our two newest wanderers, but to be honest, I can't really see them joining in the migration. They're probably far happier out here in their family home. So we'll just have Mir nose her way into the grasses, lighting up the way, so perhaps we could carve out a true pathway between these two families. Granted, we're going to want to keep that curtain of grass between Mimic and Doubloon, otherwise I'm sure he's going to get a little bit too suspicious. But at the same time, Mir could probably help them. Oh, find the Dodamingo. Oh, thank goodness. Our little Dodamingo has a tiny bit of life left on him, so Mimic, it looks like you have a few more days to spend with your friend after all. Well, Nukier, unfortunately for you, it doesn't seem like the bunnies are coming out to play. Maybe we could have Rokuta lure them toward you? Yeah, that might just work. I mean, he might as well scoop up this one since he does have the claw too. Actually, why don't you jump up here, Nukier? It would be easier for you to spot the bunnies that way. We could even have you lunge down from your throne once one is close enough, and the Dodamingo seems to need some rest anyways. Probably because they are so old and weary, so that they're going to be leaving the life of scouting behind them for now. So let's go over to Doubloon next. He's going to try to show his son how to fish. Charm seems to have much more interest in the art of fishing than Spell ever did, so he's very, very excited. In fact, if we bring Doubloon right here, he should be able to scoop up tons of fish inside the stream. Wait a second, little guy, you're gonna want to leave at least something for Charm to catch too. Oh no, and they skittered away? Maybe you could spook them back toward Charm for us? Yes, excellent! So go ahead and finish scooping up that fish swarm for us. I wonder if there's going to be any fish for us to catch on the new island? Some of you have said that there's only going to be 1 level's worth of ocean tiles for us to work with, so I'd assume that there's probably going to be something spawning inside. Hopefully it's not going to be just leeches though. Goodness knows Atalanta has seen her fair share of leeches. She's probably going to be on leech collecting duty, in fact, if we do see them swimming around. Now we can't forget that Tanunu has a new mission to take care of too. He's promised to Mary that he's going to go out searching for Spell, so we can tell him how sorry his mother is for lying. She just wants to make sure that Spell is okay wherever he is now. She probably understands that she's never going to see him again. Today is her final day after all. But I'm sure that Doubloon would only think that Tanunu is very eagerly seeking out more of these roots to dig up. That was always his favorite pastime, finding the roots so Mary could dig them up for him. But instead, I guess we could actually take him straight down the center here. We could bring him over to this nest where the Wanderers have set up, and then he'll just kind of slowly sink into the grasses, and even run into his brother. Oh, Nukir and Tanunu. Have they even interacted? I feel like Nukir went away a little bit too soon for them to truly bond, so maybe it's time for them to change that. Now let's go ahead and scoop up that bunny meat that we caught before, or the mole meat rather. This is where that mole was hiding? And it looks like there's some more little bunnies for you to pounce on, Tonsil. We'll have you go ahead and pounce on this bunny for us. That way Frostbite can just stay next to his little baby for a bit longer. He doesn't really have much time left on his lifespan anyways, so I'm sure he wants to instill as much courage as he possibly can into Prophet. We'll have Daydream jump down here just to pick up some more of the grasses, and maybe to see if she can finally pull a vision from the skies. It has been a long, long time since our oracles last had a true vision. I guess the last one was the one that Ember and Spark received about the baby with the stripes. But the oak tree has always been a little bit harder for our oracles to work beneath, so I'm sure that Prophet is not going to feel anything anytime soon. In fact, our babies don't often receive any sort of visions at all, but I think that Oak is going to be different. He's not really a direct member of the Oracle family, but he still has those antennas on him. He also has the big ears too, instead of their typical Bergina ears, so he is a little bit different. I'm not sure that most of our tribe would even consider him to be a true Oracle, so maybe they wouldn't listen to his concerns. But I wonder if he can sense how cold this island is going to be. I feel like he would be a little bit scared of it. Even at such a young age, he's probably quivering with fear. So it's something that his elders would be used to, and they might not even take him seriously because of it. They would think it's just the typical fears of some over-imaginative child, but deep down, he's the one who knows the truth. This island is going to be very difficult for us to survive on. So we better go ahead and grab up all of the acorns that we possibly can. We still do have quite the feast to gather after all. Let's have Gold go ahead and knock down some more acorns for his family to collect. To be honest, I'm not sure if he's even going to survive this day. He only has 3 days remaining. We don't have any more healing fruits for him to eat. Dusk Soul could always purr for him again, but I think Gold is a little bit too distracted by his newfound friendship to go seeking out the healers. Our little platypus beaks have never ever felt a bond like this before, and I wonder if perhaps Chestnut might be thinking about asking Rihanna if she wants to start a family, but right now he's feeling just a tiny bit too shy. Or maybe more appropriately, he's feeling a tiny bit too cold. Maybe he just can't get the words out over that chattering beak. I wonder if perhaps we could have Atalanta come over here. She is a very, very strong individual, so even if she ends up getting sick, I think she's going to be okay. Now there's no more acorns that we can knock down with Rihanna. We could have her jump over here though to pick this one up, and then scoot right on back to Chestnut's side. She certainly doesn't want to risk getting any of the babies sick. That would be a surefire way to get herself looked down upon. Now let's have Aura skitter on over to the berry bush so she can collect a couple more berries for the kids. That does set her up right next to Snowstorm, so if he is still feeling sick after grabbing that healing fruit, she might be in a little bit of trouble. But at least she has that purring magic on her too. But Aura, I suppose, can just leave this family in the protection of Catnip. Now she can only move one tile every single turn, which is going to make it so difficult for her to get around if we take her to the next mountain. I'm not really sure though. Should we go with Catnip, a creature of a brute force, who can only really attack if she's in the right place at the right time? Or should we actually go with her brother, who wouldn't live quite as long, but who could definitely get around with a bit more ease? I think he's just as strong as she is too. He basically has the same genes. It's just he does risk getting other creatures sick, and if our leaders discover that he's sick, he probably wouldn't be able to go at all. They're hoping to leave all remnants of this plague far behind them, because goodness knows the next challenge island is going to be tough enough as it is. I guess it all depends what Laurana decides, but I wonder if Catnip feels like that last spot is reserved for her. I wonder how she's going to feel if her brother ends up stealing it instead, just zipping on in before she can even plant her toes down on the ports. It would be a betrayal worthy of Daybreak's curse, I would imagine. And it looks like Sunflower is just about to come face to face with our friendly Berryina again. I almost forgot how aggressive these two families were toward each other. The friendly Berryina did try to make amends at one point, but Sunflower and our Bluebird leaders have just never been able to accept him. It's kind of funny too, because Sunflower actually does have one of those Berryina claws. And so does Ramila, I think. So they definitely have some Berryina ancestry in their family tree. I wonder how that's going to affect Ramila's way of thinking too, to see her father so wary of this creature. Sunflower is usually laid back and happy. There aren't many creatures that he doesn't get along with, so it's probably quite shocking for Ramila to see. Now we should be just about out of turns. All we really have to do is maybe pick up some grass with the nuke here. And I don't think there's any more roots that Marigold could possibly pick up, especially because she's just about to pass away. I guess our oracles will have to carry the message of her passing. Oh, you do have a little root. Excellent, one last root for the road. Oh, Frostbite would be so proud of you. Yeah, our oracles are going to have to let him know what happened. I guess he's going to have to be the one that ends up setting her remains to rest, if they can get to him fast enough. He only has 1 day remaining on his lifespan as it is. I suppose we could bring Ember and Spark a little bit closer. They could jump on over here, lighting up the way for Laurana as soon as she's old enough. We could even have her move between Marigold and Salami, that way she'll be ready for the journey. She's probably as eager as anything to get started. She knows that she has a big destiny in front of her. So let's go ahead and skip the day. We might as well zoom out. And it looks like our bluebirds are actually going to meet right at these ports. They're both heading this way now. Interesting. That must be what Salami is going to tell Laurana to follow. 2 bluebirds for the 2 bluebird feathers that we're going to press into her paws. And I guess we might as well change her over to the rank of an alpha too, as we switch Salami over to her normal rank of a beta. No longer the queen of this tribe, I'm afraid, but you know that you're leaving it in very good hands. She even has blue eyes too, to represent those bluebirds, so she is one very special child. You know, Charm also has the blue eyes, and I know that he's going to be eager to join in on the migration too, especially with this newfound knowledge that Doubloon has given him. So as Doubloon stays behind to mourn the passing of his mate, let's have Charm follow in their shadow as well. We can have Laurana try to scoot around the rocks. I'm sure she wants to get out in front. She wants to lead this charge. But the oracles are very mindful of that, and they'll try their best to keep her contained. Ooh, and Ramila has a little bunny to snatch up. She's so cold though, I wonder if maybe Sunflower should do that instead. He would probably go charging after the bunny anyways, just to ensure that the friendly Berryina doesn't get to it first. though it seems as if he's almost banished himself off in the darkness. Maybe he was a little bit afraid seeing Sunflower again. He doesn't want to get chased out of the territory entirely, so he's just hiding until he goes away. We have a new gene too. I wonder what we may have unlocked in here. Oh, the antlers. Yeah, I thought we had a little bit more time left on the heat body and the big body, but I guess the antlers required a bit less time in the colder climates. Oh my gosh, will we finally see the return of the antlers on this new island? I wonder what sort of special connection the antlers will have in the future. The antennas are for our oracles, the ram horns so often connect our creatures to anime. So what do you think would be a special connection for the antlers? I'm not sure if the antlers have ever even made their way into our lore, not in a special way at least. So maybe it's time for us to finally fix that. We'll have to see if we can find a good family to set the antlers up in their mutation menu. I wonder if maybe we should bring Salami back toward this side of the family too. Maybe she's getting curious about where her son is going, and she's probably looking for some more of those poison berries anyways. Oh, we could even set her up inside this nest? The Dodomingo's nest, of course. The poor guy is almost getting pushed out of his own home. Well, maybe Mimic could come around here and spend some time with you. We could even have Spell do the same. He can light up the way toward those bunnies, and you guys can frolic through the mountains one last time together. But it is nice to see these true families finally reuniting again. I'm sure that Nukir is very, very happy to see his mother. It's been a long time since they last crossed paths. And Tanunu can come on down here too. Just spend this one day warming each other up and maybe telling their stories. I wonder if Salami would try to convince her sons that they need to go toward the migration as well. She's not sure if Laurana is going to choose them per se. It's all up to her and those bluebird feathers now. But of course Salami would think that all of her children are fit for the job. Now here's your last chance to bloom. Your last chance to find those couple of little fish in the stream. Though it looks like this place is unfortunately bare, Charm grabbed up every last one of your precious fish, so I know you're very proud of him. Oh, there's even some roots over here. If only you had the digging paw. I guess you could try to paw away at the ground, but it looks like it's a little bit too tough. Oh, and the Dodomingos are watching on too. This one is quite a bit younger than the one that Mimic has over by his home. I guess the Dodomingos will keep you company as you pass by the streams then. At least you're not going to be alone. The Kravitz once represented the wishes of our ancestors, but I wonder if maybe this time it's coming in the form of a Dodomingo. This was where Doubloon was born, and this was where Trinket settled down for a time, so maybe this is like the mother Dodomingo, just coming by to make sure that he has some company while he passes. Now I suppose we could bring Ember and Spark up this way. We still want somebody to stay by Laurana. Do you think maybe Charm could be the one? If he uses his last turn, he's going to set up right next to her, so I suppose they would be fine with him keeping watch for now. That would then give Spark just enough time to scoot on over here and help warm up Ramila. She was still feeling mighty cold, so she hasn't been able to make use of all of her energy. I guess we'll have her clear out the grasses then for Ember. That way he can get all the way down to Frostbite, and of course give him the sad news. I mean, so many of these creatures have passed, and with our final gravedigger on his final day, how is he going to set them all to rest? So I wonder if this is where Daybreak's curse could come in handy. Daybreak was actually a gravedigger too. He traveled to many different colonies around the island to help set souls to rest, and that was part of the reason why his mate thought he was never coming back. So as Chestnut comes to terms with his brother's passing, and as he realizes that life is very, very short, and he doesn't have much time to spend with Rihanna, maybe what we'll do is place the digging paw into both of their mutation menus. And we'll see if perhaps we can drag some double digging pawed babies out of them. I would love for them to keep the platypus beak too, so we'll have to make sure that we set that up in Rihanna's mutation menu. That does mean that she will be passing some rather unfavorable genes. Her traits are really not the best, but for this case, I feel like it would really work toward Daybreak's story, the entire curse beneath the oak tree. Now, is there anything else we can give to Chestnut? maybe just the medium tail. Especially if they end up inheriting his lean body instead, we want to make sure they have at least some cold resistance on them. So go ahead and breed with Rihanna. Hopefully, if her poor fertility doesn't get in the way. Oh, it is really, really bad, much more so than quite a few of our other tribe mates, but at least we're going to be able to have one baby between you. We'll bring Atalanta over here as well, I think. I do want her to keep everybody warm, but now she doesn't have to worry about staying next to the sick creatures anymore. We might as well have her stand in front of Oak then, almost as if she's trying to protect him. He's probably still cowering away from the ports, all shivering and scared, so maybe she's trying to show him that it's okay. Prophet, meanwhile, he is the complete opposite. He has been instilled with plenty of confidence thanks to his mother and his father, so he's actually ready to go. He is raring for this adventure. I'm sure that's all he can possibly sense with his antennas, especially since they're not working quite as well as Oak's. Now, can we find any roots for you to dig up, just so you can try to set some of these creatures to rest? We could possibly bury Dawnsoul right here, since she is so close anyways. But all of the other roots are way on the other side of the oak tree. It looks like you're going to have to leave that task in some different paws. Let's hope that Daybreak's curse actually works in our favor this time. I suppose Daydream could even knock down some more of those acorns. It's not much, but you can try your best to crack one open. She did actually succeed last time. It must be all of that training with the poison berry bushes. We might even have Catnip make her slow, lumbering way over to these ports as well. Not to be outdone, I suppose. Not to be outdone by Atalanta. She wants to show the baby that everything is safe over here too. She is going to make sure of it. We could have Dusksoul purr for his baby as if to soothe him. Ah, excellent. And he actually did dig up a root, even without the digging paw. I guess we could say he was setting Gold's remains to rest. He took care of that creature ever since he was a little baby, so it makes sense that Dusksoul would be the one to set him down in his final resting place. I guess we might as well see if Aura and Shine can do some hunting too, since she was able to get lucky with that bunny. Maybe if you two hide away in the grasses over here, you'll be able to trick some bunnies into hopping your way. Even Snowstorm is trying his best to stay hidden, but I'm sure that's more because of his sickness. So I think that's probably a good place to leave our creatures for this turn. So let's go over to the oak tree and cross our fingers that this baby is going to be the return of the grave diggers. Excellent. It looks like he has the digging paw. But this isn't our friendly Berryina, is it? Oh my gosh, we have another Berryina over here. Oh, the return of the curse indeed? Prophet, I bet you didn't see this coming. Well, luckily, your mother is very strong. She might be able to take care of this for the most part, but I think this would be a good opportunity for creatures like Ramila to get in on the action too, especially after that strange standoff between the Berryina and her father. So perhaps in order to do him proud, we'll have her jump over here and land her attack, which will poison the Berryina too. The strength of those poison fangs is not one to take lightly, and it's something that I don't think anybody over here beneath the oak tree has ever seen before. So we'll have Daydream use the rest of her turns to take care of the Berryina. That was just me. It scares me every single time, but it didn't take any of our babies. So reap the rewards of that battle, Daydream. And that'll be a nice little stash of meat for us to take to the next island too. Now I wonder what creatures like Snowstorm would think of this. He's been hiding away in the grasses over here. I'm sure these creatures haven't even noticed him. But he knows that he looks quite a bit like those Berryinas that so many of our tribe mates are scared of. So I wonder if he's starting to have second thoughts about the migration. Maybe he thinks there's no way that anybody could possibly accept him like this. He's only going to end up getting torn apart. If they don't notice his illness, then they're going to be too frightened to be anywhere near him, and he'll just end up freezing somewhere out in the cold. Catnip, of course, is not quite so easily deterred. I think we could even bring her straight over to the ports right now. We'll have her settle down right on top of them as one of the very first creatures ready to migrate. And now let's go ahead and take a closer look at this baby. Now that peace has returned once more, we can finally take a look at this baby's genetics. The fishing tail? Oh, that was Rihanna's contribution? Ooh, I didn't expect to see that on their baby. That's awfully interesting. So I guess he would be a really, really good little fisherman? Well, I sure hope we're going to find fish on this new island then. He'll be able to dig up the roots to help set our creatures to rest. He can use his claws to hopefully scoop up some bunnies. And he'll definitely be able to find us some fish in the water too. I guess we'll have to get to know Charm once they cross paths. His golden spots are actually a pretty nice touch too. Maybe that would even be Daybreak's influence shining through once again. But as for his name, I think that Chestnut is probably going to try to honor his brother in some way, so we'll name this baby Silver. It could be a reference to his silver ram horns and his silver beak too. Those are pretty cool. Usually our platypus babies have darker beaks, so he looks pretty unique. Now before we end the episode, let's see if we can get Lorana just a little bit closer to the ports. Unfortunately, she's getting pretty cold too. I wonder if maybe Charm would try his best to usher her toward her family. We could even bring her right here so she could settle down between her father and Spark. Spark is probably going to drift away to clear out the pathway for her, but Charm has been a pretty loyal little sunbeam so far. Honestly though, I feel like he's going to have a bit of a more mischievous personality than this, so I can't imagine that this ever-loyal guard thing is going to last for much longer. Soon enough he's going to need some action, or else he's liable to start to cause trouble within our tribe. Now I guess in the next episode we'll probably be able to bring Lorana to the ports. It's taken a little bit longer than I expected because we have so many creatures to deal with now. Honestly, it'll be nice when we only have 7 again. I believe there are 7 spaces here for us to work with, so our tribe is going to be much smaller, but it's going to help us keep track of our food supplies too. You guys have told me that there really isn't very much food for us to eat on this new island, so we have to collect as much as we possibly can. I am feeling much more confident now that I know we have a creature with a digging paw though. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll even meet a brand new ancient creature who has the digging trunk as well. The digging trunk was often a very common gene for us to unlock in the Ancient Legends challenge, so if we have a lot of glaciers to open, I'm sure we'll see it eventually. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!